welcome to the Nurse Boss Shift. It's your girl, Dr. Kiana Jones.
And I'm Crystal P, the Hormone MP.
Woo! And this is our first episode of 2025. Yeah! And I don't know if y'all can tell, but we got audio.
Yes.
Now, here's the funny thing, you guys. One of the biggest challenges we had last year was our audio was trash.
Yes, sorry about that.
And we decided we got to step it up because we number 5 in the globe.
Yeah. In the globe.
We can't be number 5 in the globe with trashy audio and call ourselves
And we're trying to get to number 1, so.
Period. And call ourselves hosting a podcast. So, you guys, we have leveled up. I don't know if y'all listening to us on Spotify or Apple, but we are also on YouTube. And if you look at our YouTube video, you can see our new little space. Yes. Crystal has one at her location. We are now at my location. So we're really trying to do some things. I think I'm going to show, because I took a picture of the first little setup where it was on a TV dinner stand and like 5 nursing books, like of the thick nursing books.
Ooh, I wonder if I have one too. Same.
With a jimmied up mic.
Yep.
So I can really appreciate that and how far we have come. Yeah. So what's up, Chris? It's 2025.
Well, we're a few days in, and the year has already started off rough. As many of you know, we are in California. Dr. Jones is in LA, so there's been fires. Our whole state has been on fire, seems like. So our hearts go out to those people. We all know someone or know someone who knows someone who's been affected. Yeah. So it's been really rough in that aspect, but it also makes me, when these challenges have come up in business or whatever, I'm like, think about these people's houses are on fire. They lost everything. So it snaps you back into reality
and what's really important. Yeah. It's been really crazy, and we've had deaths too. Like I think we're at like 27 right now.
Yeah.
And that's another, like, lives have been lost as a result of fire. So y'all, we just trying to hang in there and try to keep our own mental together. And so, but we are excited to come on and really talk to you guys about the truth. And we want to talk about the truth about motivation and being a business owner, and just kind of taking you on our journey, and then also offering some strategic tips that we could give to you guys. And y'all know how we do, same old, but we always lead with value, and that's very important to us. So I know we left off when we said there was something exciting and all the things. And what about that?
We were trying to plan the year. The end of the year just went by so crazy fast. And I hear that from a lot of, other people too. It just went by so fast. And again, we were, trying to level up. So it's like, we didn't want to do it halfway because we know we still needed stuff and getting other coaches and people to help us. So here we are though. So we're back.
And the big exciting news, you guys know, we approached our 2 years and we're super excited about that. And we were planning, we could just tell them what we were planning. So the goal, what we were going to kind of showcase our new spots and have some big names on, and the year just went blink. Yeah. And it was January 1st. And we were also dealing with our own personal stuff. And so trying to set this whole podcast room up in her location, mine, it just was a lot. But we are super excited because we have some big things coming this year. Crystal and I have really decided to lean in when it comes to our podcast, especially here. We're number 5 in entrepreneur. I keep telling y'all.
Yes. We're number 5.
We're number 5 in entrepreneurship.
5% global.
And we're nurses, y'all, who knew nothing when we first started.
With trash audio.
Yeah, with trash audio, okay? So we're excited about that. But we also, as always, want to come through with pure value for you guys. And so this is our first episode of the year. And we're just talking to kind of speaking about the truth and what it's like to be a business owner and really truly stay motivated. And that means through, I don't want to just say the good, because that's really easy to do.
Very easy.
When things are great, you can stay motivated. But when things are difficult, like, how do you stay motivated? Or do you even stay motivated? So we're gonna dive into that. Chris, I want to ask you though, when you have those moments, like those lows, or do you? Let me ask.
You know that. And this topic is crazy because we're both going through it right now, so it feels a little too raw to even be on here telling our business.
Right.
But yes, absolutely have lows.
Yes,
absolutely.
And so, do you stay motivated? What do you do when you have lows? Like, why don't you quit? Why don't you give up as a business owner?
Well, honestly, my community, going back to community, like, I feel like we hold each other up. Like the second you say I'm done, I'm probably right there with you. Like, okay, we done. We going back to work. Okay. So that keeps me motivated. My mom keeps me motivated. I won't say even motivated. She keeps me, or you guys just remind me that there's ups and downs in business. So I just have to go with the flow. And then of course, strengthening my relationship with God has definitely helped. But I feel like once I go through a low, you know, I have my little moment. But I love that it's getting shorter and shorter, right? So while I used to wallow for like a month, now it's like a day or two. I'm wallowing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna pick myself back up, and then something happens to kind of remind me why I'm doing it. So I feel like after the lows, I get really motivated again. Yes. I'm motivated, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I try, and then it seems like things get good, and then maybe hit another low, and then have an issue or my moment, and then pop back up with being out there, but. Yeah, you really have to lean on people in entrepreneurship because it's not there. It's what's the word? Like it's not predictable. So you kind of get used to it, just like we're saying, the fear and pushing past the fear, you get used to that fear. You just get used to the lows, and you have to really just keep yourself motivated. Also, I always tend to go back to like listening to motivational speakers and things like that to kind of help me get back motivated. But how about you? Do you have lows?
No, I never have lows.
Right. Always up.
Actually, I feel like, you're not going to always be motivated. Like, I think that's the biggest falsehood, the biggest myth, is that these people who are successful or who have businesses are always motivated. You are absolutely not motivated a lot of the time. And I think in those lows are when you grow. And so if you were like in the best time and always just like, somebody who is always motivated 100% of the time, I would question.
Right.
I'm like, either they're lying, something like you're not always motivated. Now, let's think about, what's the guy's name who does the Stay Hard guy? What is his name? Stay Hard. The one that runs. He was a Marine. He was, I forget his name. No, he's not Tony. Dennis? I can't remember his name. But anyway, he talks about the fact that even he is not always motivated. He runs like crazy marathons and like all these triathlon, like just crazy stuff. But he always talks about like discipline.
Yes.
Like it's not really about motivation. To me, motivation is the good feeling, right? But most of the time, especially when you're going through growing pains, like you're not going to have the best feeling. So I think when it comes to business, if you, and those of you who are just starting, or even those who may be in it right now, just remember, like, you're not going to always feel like it, but you have to have that compelling reason to keep pushing you through. And I think for me, that's what it's like when I think about, not even just going back to work, because I would go back to work in a heartbeat for my family, but it's more so when I think about living to my fullest potential.
And you know that you aren't, because you still have growing to do.
Exactly. And so I just want to die empty. That's what I know. And so my motivation is like, no regrets, live full and die empty. Like, and feeling the emotions of like the highs and the lows really just kind of lets you know you're still alive. Because I can't imagine the monotony of like going to work every day, like, knowing a very predictable job, going home, taking my 2 weeks. That just sounds so boring to me. And I think, and not everybody is supposed to be an entrepreneur, but I do think that those are some of the qualities, some of the character traits that us as entrepreneurs, like we get excited about that. Yeah. Right. And I think that also is a part of the motivation of why I keep it. But I did look up the definition of motivation. Okay. And it says the reason or reasons one have for acting or behaving in a particular way, and the general desire or willingness of someone to do something is motivation. So it's like, what is it? And it could change for sure. Like I said, mine is like, oh, I don't want to leave here and like not have done everything I could possibly do. We also have kids, so that's a part of our motivation. Yeah. But do I feel motivated? Sometimes I want to say, forget them kids.
Right, exactly. Forget them kids.
So do I always feel motivated? No, I don't. But I still keep going because I got work to do, and I feel like I have a purpose here. And I think we don't talk about that enough. So I guess the takeaway from this part is like, you don't always feel motivated.
No.
And you're not going to always feel motivated.
No. Hey. But I think the discipline, like you said, is where it comes into just being consistent and having that discipline. And then learning of, you know, when you're not motivated, usually it's because you're going through something, right? Yeah. So just always trying to look at what the lesson is or what you're trying to be taught. You know, I feel like, and we will be talking to my financial coach in one of the episodes, but I feel like really right now, you know, God is like, I need you to learn how to manage this money because if I give you more money, you need to learn how to manage it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back to the basics and learning, you know, that part of it. I'm trying to think that's the lesson. So that's what's keeping me motivated right now. But you just always have to look at the lesson and just know that you're always growing, or that that's what life is about. Always growing, learning new things, getting what you need so that you can go to the next level.
Yeah. And we kind of touched on discipline, but I think having discipline is more valuable when you're in the growing part than the motivation. Motivation prevents you from quitting for sure. Like you keep your eye on the prize, but discipline keeps you going when you don't feel like it.
Right. Cause I was going to say, I feel like motivation, like I'm always motivated, but am I always disciplined?
Yes. I definitely agree. Like if we're looking at that definition, is like you always have something to look for. Right. I don't feel motivated. Like when I think motivated, I'm like, I'm ready to get it. I don't always feel like that. Right. But I always know that there is some bigger reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. You're always willing to. Right. But discipline is like when I don't feel like it, I still get up and do the thing that's going to push the needle forward, even when I don't feel like it. And I think that is a huge differentiator that it's not talked about enough. Yeah. You are not going to feel like it all the time. You don't feel motivated, but yet you still do it. Yeah. And then in hindsight, it always makes sense, right? When you do the thing, it's like, oh yeah, that's why. Right. Like, I'm glad I did it. Right. Like, I'm glad I showed up. I'm glad I applied for that speaking gig. I'm glad I, put in that application, whatever, because once you do it, and then in hindsight, it just all makes sense. So if you commit to like, I'm going to, reach out to 10 people a month about my particular product, you don't feel like hearing no, but you committed to reaching out to 10 people per month, making 10 calls. So you do that anyway. Yeah. And then when you get that one sale out of that 10, it's like, this feels good, right? Right? And then that kind of helps add to your motivation too. Because you got a sale, it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep doing it. And that kind of, I feel like it snowballs. Yeah. They always say to get motivated, you have to do something. Yeah. You have to make a step towards it. And then once you start, it'll be, like you said, a snowball effect. So just keep doing something and don't let yourself sit too long and wallow in your lack of motivation. Just get up and do one step towards it. Like, I'm going to make a phone call, or I'm going to, like you said, fill out the first part of the application. Then you find yourself filling out the whole application. Yeah. You just got to do one step to get, to move towards the goal and to stay motivated. Do you feel like, what about triggers? Do you feel like you have certain triggers that may affect your level of motivation in business? Like, of course we know when things go wrong, it feels like the world is ending, but like, do you have certain triggers within yourself? Or I should say, my real question is self-sabotaging things that you may do when, you're not as motivated.
Definitely sitting around watching TV.
And what do you tell yourself when you're sitting around?
I deserve it. I'm gonna just watch one episode. Those things. And it's that. Because I really try not to watch TV, but I know when I'm feeling not motivated, I'm watching it more and more. Yeah. So trying to stop myself from doing that. I'm not like a person who just binges Netflix, but I will sit there and watch my mindless reality shows that I don't have to think about. But I would say that's what I do. What's yours?
I feel like, mine's is I try to do something else that I consider productive. Okay. I'm a super, I'm a manipulator. Okay. Let me I have to say this. When I sit up and I evaluate myself, I am such a manipulator. And I think I've talked to you about this before. And it's not just like, manipulating others. It's low key manipulating myself. And what I mean by that is like I have always, and I think I talked about this on the previous podcast, but I've always like gotten by with my brains, like smartness, right? But the truth of the matter is it was always easy to me. It was just impressive to others.
Okay.
So I would always like, and that's how I ended up with the PhD. Like I knew my first year, like, oh, what am I doing? Like, why am I even here? But I couldn't quit because first of all, I was already in it and then I got a scholarship, but also people were impressed. So I felt like I was doing something. The truth is the hard part for me was starting a business because I knew nothing about it. And I knew that I had a high likelihood of failure starting something that I don't know about versus school. I know school, girl. I can get through that, right? So the same is true when I have my triggers. I'll like listen to a podcast, take one of my thousands of courses that I already have bought and never opened up that's in my inbox. I'll do something that others will perceive as productive, but the truth of the matter is about 90% of the content that I'm watching or I'm studying real hard or I'm reading from a book, I already knew. I already know. I just don't want to execute. I just don't want to take action because I am triggered.
You just keep learning and learning and learning and learning
and
learning.
So for me, I feel like, well, I'm doing, because like, I'm not looking at TV. Like I'm not senselessly binge watching Netflix. But the truth of the matter is it's the same thing. Because I'm not doing anything that's moving the needle forward.
You know a lot though.
And so if we have a conversation, I can out-talk you on all the things that I know. But the truth of the matter is I am not living to my fullest potential when I'm in those moments. And the truth of the matter is I'm truly defeated. And so to make me feel a little better, I do something that other people will consider productive, even though it's truly not productive for me. Right. And so those are my triggers. So I have to, or I like fold up clothes. Like I hate folding up clothes. So it's like, I'm doing something that I don't like. Right. But the truth of the matter is not what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not owning it. And so I think everybody has those type of, and I call them, and I call them, I had read in a book, they're called like micro quits. And like micro quits are like, you haven't like said, I quit, but you start doing you're not in it. Like you start doing other things that you know are not contributing to your overall goal. So it may be productive in another realm, but it's like you are just small. And then over time, what happens over those micro quits is they start to grow. And so now you're micro quitting more often. Next thing you know, you actually quit over time. And that's the crazy part. So yeah, y'all, the triggers is there. Wow.
We just analyzed ourselves.
Wow. Okay. So we have the triggers. We identify them. One of the things that I plan to do this year and what I keep like kind of seeding in my mind is execution. Right. I have owned the fact that I'm a manipulator. I've owned the fact that I use my smarts against people to make them think I'm doing better, thereby making me feel better. Right. But I've also realized is that I need, and people may look on the outside and think, oh, you do so much. No, I could do more. The truth of the matter is I could do more. And, you know, because my mom gives me permission to say, Kiana, you're doing so much. Girl,
you deserve
just take a rest. Just take it. No. Because the truth of the matter is, Mom, it looks like a lot to you, but I'm really not doing what I should be doing and I know it, right? And so this year is about execution for me. And so I really spent the time and like just kind of laid out the things that I need to do to get me on the path that I need to be on. And like I have daily goals and I have weekly goals that I cannot go to sleep until I achieve them. And they're highly leaned into execution and not just like, make sure you read a book or do your affirmations. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've been doing that.
Not moving the needle.
It's like, it's not enough. What about you?
I would say same. For me this year, definitely execution, knowing that I could do more, knowing that I could get up earlier, not giving into those periods, because the end of the year for me, I just, so the last few months have felt like that, you know, with holidays and everything, but it's felt like you are not doing anything. Then I try not to get on myself too hard about not doing anything, but see, this is the whole cycle, because I really am like, am I not doing enough or am I doing too much? Or am I giving myself an excuse? Same. But anyways, so yeah, this year definitely executing, writing out those goals and really trying to step outside of my comfort zone to get the things done that I know that I need to do. And then also definitely this year, just being more strategic and having a schedule for myself.
Yeah.
I think I just kind of, a lot of times my day gets the best of me.
Yeah.
We're how many days in and I still kind of feel like that, but at least I'm aware of it. Just really trying to set systems in place for not only the business, but my family, because I feel like when I have, Mondays I'm doing this and that, that'll keep me organized and keep me from feeling like I'm all over the place.
And stop the busy work.
Yeah.
Like that and the thing is, it's the things that are not moving the needle. Like, do you absolutely need to check your emails? Yes. But do you need to check them as much as you do? No. It's taking up time. It's distracting you. Oh, I got to reply to this. I got to reply to that. Is it urgent? Like, it really is kind of reframing that, which that's what I'm trying to work through too this year, is really trying to reframe, like, okay, I'm gonna check my emails at the beginning of the day, and at the end of the day, if I get to it, I do. If I don't, it'll be there tomorrow for sure at the beginning of the day. Like, nothing is that emergent. If it is, I would have gotten notified. They would have called me. They would have something, right? So if it's not your family's health at risk, it's not that important. Right. And so it's just really repackaging that, because you know how it go. You open up an email, next thing you know, you go down a whole rabbit hole for an hour.
Got to put that phone on do not disturb.
And do not disturb, and like block your time. So which takes us to where we're going next, which is about practical steps that people can make. Now, this is for those who are, if you're a current entrepreneur or even an aspiring entrepreneur, but you really want to have some level of motivation. I want us to give like a couple of tactics that people can do right now, right, that can help them. And so let's start with the aspiring entrepreneur. Those who are like, this year, I'm starting my business. I don't care what. What do you recommend that they do?
I would say first, having a plan.
Yeah.
Because when you think that there's so much that you have to do, then you get overwhelmed and then your motivation goes.
Yeah.
So, but then when you have a plan and really, write out the steps or look for the coach you're going to get to help you get there. How are you going to get this business open? Writing down those steps, making them plain to see what actually you have to do. I feel like that will help to bring the overwhelm, to keep the overwhelm at bay. And then that will keep you motivated to see that you can actually get it done.
For the aspiring entrepreneurs, my tip is going to be get on Eventbrite and find a networking event right after you listen to this podcast. Go sign up for it. Period. And go. That's because the truth of the matter, just start. Like start ugly. It doesn't matter. You don't have a bill. I don't have a business. I really can't. Go to the networking event. Go show up at the networking event. I don't care if you don't have no business cards. I don't care what. Find one in your local area so you don't have the objection of, I got to get on a plane. Just find something in your area and show the heck up.
Yes.
That's the main thing. That's mine. All right. So we got two for those who are aspiring. For the current entrepreneurs, okay, I'll go first. And this is something that I'm actually working through right now. Get on some calls. Be aggressive about reaching out to people who have shown interest in what you have. Or let's say you don't have people, you do, but let's just say you say, oh, well, I don't really have. Okay, then who should have interest in what you have, and contact them. Cold call, whatever it is. Reach out to some people right now who you think you could collab with, who you think you can network with. Reach out.
That's a good one.
That's a tactic. That'll keep you motivated, because you'd be surprised. You're going to hear, and one more on top of that. Be okay with no. Like, no is a good thing when you can find out why, because that gives you the opportunity to make your product even better. So no, if you hear yeah all the time, how in the heck are you going to grow as a business owner? So look for the no's and then ask why when they say no, so you can continue to improve. What's yours?
Yeah. So for current entrepreneurs, I would say do an assessment of your business and see what it needs at this current time, not what it may need in the future, but what it may need at this current time, and get some help in that area. Because once you get help in that area, like one of my coaches said, once you basically you have to find the fire quickly in your business to put it out so that you can move on to the next fire. Because if you stay on one for too long and you're contemplating like firing that person and you haven't, or you need to do this and you haven't, then you're going to be stuck on that problem for a long time versus just doing what you need to do to solve it and then moving on. So if that's a coach, or if that's, hiring someone, figure out what your business needs now and actually act upon that. Because a lot of times, like myself, I procrastinate when it comes to things in my business that I know I need, because again, it seems overwhelming. So figure out what you need right now, not the future, and find out who you can get to help you solve that problem.
That's good. That's good. Well, you guys, we have this is something new that we're going to do, but we're going to give out a downloadable. And this is a worksheet called the 7 Levels Deep. If you've been in my coaching program, you've already had it. Crystal is probably tired of hearing it because I always talk about it. But it's by someone named Joe Stump. And basically this has really changed and put things into perspective and it helps you really understand your compelling reasoning, meaning your why, right? Your motivation of why you do something. So if you're like, I don't really know why, this will be good for you. And even if you do know why, you think you know why, doing this would still be a good exercise, because believe it or not, that whole financial freedom, time freedom, that's surface level. You really, really have to get deeper in understanding why you do what you do in order to keep you with some level of motivation or reasoning on why you're keeping on through all the hardships, the ups, the downs, or whatever. And so we're going to offer that to you guys. So make sure you download it. Even on YouTube, it should be in the link. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it should be the link in the captions. And if you're listening to us, make sure you get it. It'll be in the show notes. All right. Well, I think this was a good episode, yes, you guys. At the top of the year, yeah, for sure. My thing is, you guys, it's starting out crazy. Just keep going.
Yeah. It only has to get better from here.
It has to get better, you guys. It has to get better. So until next time, you guys, make sure you don't be stingy. Don't gatekeep. We are number 5 in the globe. Right. So make sure you share this with other entrepreneurs. They could be in healthcare, of course, but even if they're not in healthcare, do share. And if you guys have other topics that you want us to talk about, we are always open to learn what you guys want to hear so that we can help you solve problems. That's our whole mission, you guys. Until next time, take care. Bye.